I want you to tell these stories because I want to show the level of restraint that you have leading up to what happened December 27th.
Yep, 27th, 2 days after Christmas.
2018.
Yep.
I was sitting at home. I get a phone call from your employee at Code Nation. You were working at it was your business. You were one of the owners of Code Nation. And your employee calls me and tells me that you hadn't been to work in, I believe, 3 days because I got the call on the 30th. You just left my house. He's like, this isn't like Don, and I'm like, yeah, no shit, it's not like Don. You'd been gone for 3 days, according to him. I punch up your name, start Googling your name, and I'll be damned, all these fucking articles start coming up. And none of the articles, I think there was 3 or 4 of them maybe, one of the articles says you had opened fire on somebody over a road rage incident. Another article said somebody had opened fire on you. Another one said you're in the hospital. Somebody else is in the hospital. None of the shit jived. I had not met your wife, Pam, at the time. Found her on Facebook and your son, who I had not met either. And luckily they messaged me back, and we hit the road and spent New Year's Eve in the hospital where you were recovering. So why don't you, I know that there's only so much you can tell us because it's in litigation right now, correct?
Yeah.
Tell us what you can about the actual incident and where it happened.
Sure. So it happened on the Macon County line. The shop was just inside the Macon County line, and I went north into Monroe County on the way home, and I wasn't very far into Monroe County when all this went down.
This is Georgia, correct?
Yeah, this is all Georgia. Yeah, middle Georgia. Obviously, because there is an open case, criminal case, with all of this, where I've been indicted. We can't get into a lot of the specifics, but I will say that an ice cream salesman who has a history of domestic violence, as a matter of fact, he has a documented history of domestic violence.
Are those all different incidents that he's been?
This is a court document where he was issued a restraining order to stay away from family members and was also ordered to undergo a batterer's intervention program. So, I don't know the specifics of it. All I know is obviously this guy's got a background with it.
There's a history of violence.
There's a history of violence there. And he also admitted in his statement, because we've had discovery and I've seen his statement, that he was road raging. So do the other people that were with him.
Before we get into specifics, what are you being indicted for?
Aggravated assault, and I think it's possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, I want to say is the other one.
Okay.
Something to do with having a firearm while it went down.
Right now, I already know the answer to this, but you need to say it. Are you innocent?
Fuck yeah, I'm innocent. They literally have the situation 180 degrees. And think about it. He gives a statement, I'm fucking bleeding out on the ground, and then go to the trauma center where I later, 24 hours later, more than 24 hours later, undergo brain surgery. I never said much of anything until over 2 weeks later, when I was well enough to actually tell my side of what had just went down what had went down that day. But by that time, a strange thing had gone really disturbingly wrong. Apparently, even though they had my driver's license, got my license plate on my pickup truck, got my VIN number, got everything they need to identify who I am, they pulled the background of a career felon.
Instead of you?
Instead of me, they literally told Pam, and you know what, she's going to do a much better job of telling that story than I can, but the guy said that I was a career felon with a rap sheet as long as your arm, with felony convictions, including drug convictions, who had no legal right to be in possession of a firearm. So they threw everything out the window, it seems, and just said, he's guilty. Let's wrap this shit up and go home, boys. But
Did they think you were dead?
I can only speculate, but it seems like they thought I was dead or about to die, so they just blamed the shit on me and said, let's wrap this up and go home.
What did you get shot in the head with?
A 38 revolver.
A 38?
Yep. Little snub nose pistol. I knew what it was as soon as I saw it, as soon as he was pointing it at me.
I want to put a picture up right now on YouTube showing where you got shot in the head.
Okay.
So there it is.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
Yeah,
In
it's
fact,
not.
it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
Chick dig scars, though, right?
Yeah. You're shot in the head by a 38 revolver. Was it instant, lights out? There's not a whole hell of a lot of people in the world that live to tell the tale of being shot in the head. Was it lights out? Do you remember?
I don't remember being hit.
Okay. What's your first memory after being hit?
There was some real foggy stuff. I was in and out of consciousness. The first real memory, I was actually in the emergency room of this trauma center being wheeled around, because I remember the movement was really, really difficult, because moving at all at that point, with a freaking bullet in your brain, was messing with the wound, the injury.
The bullet was...
It was inside my skull.
It's in there.
Yeah.
Is it still in there?
Well, it was. I'm guessing that it was a hollow point, and I think that's an educated guess. But it turned into a bunch of shrapnel pieces once it hit my skull. It broke my skull. I have a indentation to this day, and of course it popped or shattered pieces in other areas where I got hairline fractures, spiral fractures, just a lot of shit. And the bullet fragments went in, and they're literally sitting on the artery that feeds the right hemisphere of my brain. So they're literally surrounding it. Sharp little shards of steel, lead are sitting on top of that artery.
I put the x-rays on the screen right now.
Yeah, so big concern is obviously with the doctors. It's common to have seizures around the 1 year mark. If I have a seizure, one of those shards will almost certainly poke through that artery and it'll kill me.
Well, we're right at a year.
Yep.
And
Yep. CBD,
your old
brother.
call sign was lucky.
Yep.
So let's pray that that continues.
Yeah. Well, with the help of CBD, because I tried using their anti-seizure medicine for a few weeks and it just made me violently ill. So I switched to CBD. Now I live in Florida and I actually take medical grade CBD in Florida. But that shit's magic.
Well, that's good to hear that something's helping you, man.
Yeah.
So where was Pam during all this? You're in the hospital. We talked about your first memory. You're getting wheeled around. Where's your wife?
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Ryan. Click here to subscribe to the Shawn Ryan Show YouTube channel for the hottest and most compelling interviews that you will not see anywhere else. I've also made a playlist of all the previous SRS episodes so they're easy to find. You can find that right here.